Amy, is that the piano?
No, that's not me.
Oh, okay.
That's where I'm located. I'm at my friend's house and she's rehearsing with her voice coach.
All right. We shall begin the meeting here. A second after prompt at 5:33. Thank you everyone for joining us. Start with any comments on last month's minutes?
I'm good.
Seeing none, we have a motion to accept without reading. Tim moves, seconded by Mike. All in favor? Ayes?
Aye.
Thank you very much, Bernie. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and we can jump right in. I think, Wendy, you're the only tenant present. Any critical stuff for us to address?
Oh, wait a minute.
Cindy's there. Cindy's
Sorry,
there.
there's Cynthia. Cynthia, I'm sorry. I was not paying attention under that one. Like, I called Wendy first, so we'll go ahead and let Wendy go first anyway. But any important stuff for us to note?
Well, one, the landscapers were here, but that's second. So a most important thing, so I don't know whether anyone realizes there's a dead tree that's along Millport, and the bits and pieces of the branches are over and possibly on 6E and F over their roof. So the tree I mean, if the branches just get trimmed off and leave a 20-foot stump would probably be fine because it's between the wall and the building. But just the branches will invariably be crumbling off and hitting the roof, which is not good. And
I'll look into that and get that resolved.
Okay, thank you. So I'm saying that the trunk can be that long because it's not really that noticeable. So it might be a saving not to take it down right away if there are other more expensive things, but to trim off all the branches would probably be good for the building. And my favorite landscapers are back, and they worked into the dark yesterday. But part of, I guess they were here for 2 days, but because it really was dark, but they left some mulch in the driveway and those half round metal barrier things for cellar windows, which I think belonged to building 8. They moved it, and it's sitting by our parking spots in front of 6. And they did take out a couple dead bushes, but they've left some dead bushes, and they kind of hacked it. I mean, half of it. So they must have been doing it in the dark. So maybe next week it will be cleaned up. But there are definitely 2 more dead bushes. But
so, Amy, let me just cut you off for 1 second. So, Amy, I assume that at some point here, you or somebody will do a sort of walkthrough with the landscapers.
Yeah, they're not finished yet. They're not finished.
Oh,
yet.
No.
They just got on the property last week.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. So
I'll follow up.
But those,
yeah. Okay. So
okay,
probably
great.
exceptions for that sort of stuff should probably come up next month if we end up missing something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so it was mostly the tree, which I think can be, those tree branches, which can be an issue. So it's probably not the landscapers that can deal with that. And then just some story on what's with the dumpsters. And that's all I have to say, I think. If there's a story behind the dumpsters, that would be, I don't know.
Yeah, I can tell
it-
you the dumpster story. The dumpster
Oh,
story is
good.
that we canceled the contract with them now, how many months ago, Alec? 3? 4?
I sent the letter out at the end of February for a 30-day notice. So start of April it ended.
Yeah, so we sent it out in February. I spoke with them again yesterday, and they said that they just finished the 30-day period from our notifying them of canceling the contract to 30 days later, which is obviously not true. I think we even sent the letter certified, didn't we?
Yes, I sent the
Um,
certified mail. I have a date of probably the beginning of March. And then I sent them an email. I sent Jen an email, a couple of emails actually, just clarifying that we're done on the 11th of April. And then she said there was a 30-day, they needed 30 days to get them out of there, but we would be otherwise done. And I told her I'd rather have that be done on the earlier side of the 30 days rather than later. I needed it done ASAP so we can get them out of there. And obviously they're still not done yet. So I've brought
So
in
the
I brought
bottom
in
line is
Rick,
that
really.
Wind Waste is screwing us around here, and in the midst of doing all this, we received an $11,000 bill in the mail from them yesterday for a mysterious service that doesn't exist, has been canceled, and they haven't provided. So we're essentially locked in an argument with them, saying that we followed the letter of the contract in terms of how you cancel the contract. We did it back in February and you're not honoring your part of it. And so that's why they're there. And she assured me that she was going to be talking to the fleet of trucks that removes dumpsters as opposed to empties dumpsters, and that she would get them out of there. But she's been telling us that for 2 months now. So that's the story behind it. It's basically the trash hauler giving us a hard time because we canceled their contract.
Can I make a
Yeah,
suggestion? Since they want to charge us, why don't we charge them for using the space? They're taking up a parking space because we're moving them all to one space. And why don't we give them a deadline if they don't do or have it disposed of at their expense?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do all of those things. I don't know how I would actually do that and get away with it, but if I could, I would.
Well, they're getting away with it.
I know, but it's a little different for me to figure out how to get a dumpster picked up and taken somewhere by somebody.
I know.
Is the
So-
is the dumpster a standard size like that our current haulers could take it and repaint it and use it?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
To reach
they
out
are.
to
That's just-
Eastern.
I mean, they've abandoned their property. It's sort of like
Yeah.
putting the boot on it and moving it out of there.
I don't mean to cast aspersions under certain things, but do be careful about messing around too much with trash haulers.
that's sort of why I asked the question.
And there's
Just-
and unfortunately also, I mean, there's a lot of relationships among the various trash haulers. So I don't know how much empathy we'll end up getting. I mean, I think just if you keep up on it, and I think if you do just keep posting a couple of letters stating again, you've taken space, you're costing us money, setting that stage that again, if they were to ever try us in small claims court, not that they could actually collect anything,
Could be
but it's
waste.
hassling.
Could be a waste of time to deal with waste innovations.
Yeah. So Wendy, the bottom line is we're as frustrated as the residents are
I
with
think we're off the internet.
the dumpsters being there, and we're trying our best to get them
Yeah.
removed and have been for months now.
Yeah, no, I just figured that I would be hearing an interesting story, and
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Cindy, any comments?
Yeah, I wanted to just and I told Amy this when she was in my apartment. I don't know, it was between 8, 9 o'clock at night when the flood happened. How impressed I was. If Gunnar and Amy and Gio hadn't been here after hours when the tech set off the sprinkler. I actually thought they were gone, and I dialed 911. And I couldn't, just the promptness of it probably saved my furniture, and stopped it from, much more damage, that the carpeting and stuff that it would have caused. And I told Amy when she walked into she was here twice that night. And when she came back around 8:30, I said, "Boy, you're so buttoned up." I was really impressed. I was like, "What do you guys deal with these floods all the time or what?" But I just want to thank them publicly, because it could have been really, really a lot worse. It was bad enough, but it could have been a lot worse.
Definitely appreciate that. And again, it was appreciated by the fire marshal too, in order to, get the recovery done up under the fire sprinkler system. And so again, good job on that. Thank you guys. And thank you for bringing that up. And Cindy, sorry again that it's endemic under so many things that it's like, yep, finally crossed something off the list and created a couple new things.
Well, I did have one quick question for you, as a general contractor.
Yep.
Gunnar asked me to put the heat on, right? So I said, "Yeah, Gunnar, I'll put he said, "Make sure the heat works too now." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, it's supposed to get cold, so I'll do it." So I walked into the apartment tonight and I put the heat on. And it works. I mean, the heat's coming out, but I have a hole in the ceiling and two holes, as Amy knows, in the wall where they went to work on the AC. Would that make it sound much louder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm good to go. Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
and
it'll
again,
be
I mean,
patches too.
it's amazing how even like a tiny little, like a 1 or 2 inch hole can make a huge difference, and a big hole makes, of course, a monster difference. So
Okay, great. So I'm not going to be afraid. I'm so glad that you were on the call, because I'm like, oh, Scott will know the answer to this, because, Gunnar's gone home, hopefully. So,
sure.
all right. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, so why don't we move on to management report?
Okay.
Yes. Hi, everybody. How are you guys? I'm calling you in from Puerto Rico.
Ah, wonderful.
It's really hot and humid here, muggy, raining. Not a great first day, but that's okay. It'll get better, I guess.
It is
Right?
cold and rainy here with lots of pollen causing us all to choke. So
Oh my God, I was dying
Exactly.
coming. So I know. But yeah, everything's been going well. I'm renting all the apartments. We already have 3 rented. The next 3 will be for 2 of them it's going to be for June 1st, and then our last one will be for no later than the 15th.
great.
And then we'll be fully occupied. Yay.
Awesome.
And we're continuing on with recertifications, working with with anybody that's having any problems with their rents, doing payment plans and so forth. I'm not I try to do payment plans with people before I have to take them to court. If that doesn't work, then that's my next step, is to take them to court. There would only be like 2 people that I would think of having to take them to court at this point in time, but I'm not doing it right yet. I'm waiting to see how this month goes with their payments, and for this month and next month, and then we're good. See how that's gonna flow. Other than that, everything's we have a landscaping company back on the property, so it's gotten a lot better.
Good.
Yeah, and the only other complaints that I was getting was the dumpster situation, which I already spoke with Rick about. He just mentioned as well. And the health department is also calling us.
All right. Anything in the health department is, sorry, they're just doing their inspections, or?
Yeah, they're coming and doing the inspections, and they're calling me. Every time someone calls them, they're calling me.
What are they
Okay.
calling about? Is it dumpsters?
Yeah, the dumpsters.
Okay.
Basically, it's the dumpsters. That's the only thing that there is.
What did you
I
say?
wasn't sure what
Calling you about? What is the
I'm
health
so sorry.
department calling you about?
The dumpsters,
Oh, I see.
the garbage in the dumpsters, and so the guy's been cleaning, maintenance has been cleaning up around the dumpsters every single day, putting the garbage, and the tenants know this already, that they're supposed to be putting the garbage in the dumpsters that are labeled the specific company East on them, and they do their own thing, you know how it is. So I'm gonna start finding people for throwing garbage next to the dumpsters that they're not supposed to be even using.
Are the dumpsters that are not ours, or are we able to like chain them shut or something just so people can't use them, or?
You No, that would be a fire hazard.
Ah,
They're, in
We
some
can't we
cases,
can't do
Scott,
that otherwise.
they don't even, they just throw it next to it. So
Yeah.
chaining them would just encourage them to throw the garbage next to it instead of in it.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll leave in your hands.
Thanks.
We're doing our best. We're doing our best, though. Yeah, the guy's been very good about, cleaning up around the areas. Even myself, if I'm up there, I'll see garbage on the side. I'm picking it up and throwing it elsewhere where it should be. So we're just working with what we have right now, what we're
Yep.
able to do.
Okay. All right. Financials?
So I submitted, or I should say Alex submitted the three financial reports. You'll see Mill and Mill 1 are ahead of budget, and Mill 2 is effectively on budget, behind by maybe $1,500 or so. But Mill and Mill 1 are doing significantly better than, and you'll also notice that the cash balances are starting to grow in those accounts as well. So overall, from a property-wide perspective, we're in reasonably good shape here. And working with M&T on deciphering the various operating agreements to determine how the distributions of surplus cash can flow. Doing that for both the 3 mill properties and Canaan Parish. So that's in progress, and that's tied up with the audits, Scott, that you've been seeing come through, the final audits too,
Right.
because they've got to use those numbers to make those final calculations. But
Okay.
generally speaking, finances are in reasonably good shape.
Wonderful. And how are we doing as far as, planning out capital budgets? And so, it's great the financials are in good shape. Now, as we get to some of the stuff that we may have been neglecting for a little while.
Yeah, so one of the things that I wanted to recommend is that when you walk the property, and we want to wait till after we do the spring cleanup and the spring pruning that's taking place now. But when you walk the property, there's, as Wendy pointed out, there's a lot of trees in areas and bushes in areas that have gotten overgrown to the point where I think it's time to maybe take some of that money and run through the property and get rid of some trees that I think are just creating too much shade and causing too much mold and mildew to grow on the buildings, and get some light back on the buildings, get some air flow around the buildings again, because you just have things that have grown up to a point now where they're becoming detrimental as opposed to decorative. And so a good example is when, I don't know what building numbers they are, but when you enter the property, you cross the four corners, as I call them. Clubhouse is on the right. You got 2 buildings on the left that are side by side, and they're maybe, I don't know, 10 feet apart. And if you look down in between the buildings, there are 2 fairly tall trees that are filling up that space now, that have grown tall and as wide as they can. And they don't serve any purpose now except to kind of clog up whatever airflow we are getting around those buildings. So it's trees like that I'd like to consider getting rid of, if not both, one of those trees. And then out on the main road, if you look on top of the stone wall, there's trees planted I would say like maybe every 10 feet or so. And they've all grown up to a point where they're throwing shade on the buildings all day. So we're not really getting much sun at all and much airflow at all in the building. So I'd like to go through and identify, a third, let's say, of those trees and get rid of them. The other ones are mature enough now that it won't look bare, but it will get some sunlight and some air flowing around the buildings again. So that's a one of the things I would like to do with some of that money, as far as it's not a capital necessarily, but it's something that I think is time to do.
Yeah.
And the longer you wait, the more expensive it's going to get.
Nope,
Rick?
trees are weeds.
Yeah, Rick, just a question. I mean, I don't know whether it's worth when you talk to the tree guy to talk about limbing up some of the trees.
Yeah,
'Cause that can get you airflow for the house, but it also gives you shade on the roof in the summertime,
yeah,
which helps with heating, which helps with cooling. So, but it gets the airflow, at the ground level.
right. Yeah, definitely, because there are a lot of branches that are growing into the buildings now that we
Right.
need to trim back. So it's either a heavy prune, if you will, and or removal.
And some removal too, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I think you got a very receptive audience here, and so feel free to come up to the plan and let's get some pricing. And again, there may be, I mean, there are some abnormalities in the tree removal market, which you can of course experiment with and just see whether or not, if you wait till winter, do you get 25 or 30% off, or is there
Right.
the middle of the summer or whenever? But yeah, I'm sure you're used to those sort of things and would play that correctly.
Yeah.
Are these pretty accessible, or is somebody gonna have to climb them?
No, I would say most of them are pretty accessible.
Okay. I mean, do you have a tree person you use, or?
Not anybody specific. No, I was going to start with the landscape contractor. Love Your Home.
Mhm.
Yeah, we only used another contractor before for the large trees that were in the 61 area. Remember, we were
Yeah.
removing trees in that area. We've
Right.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a fairly good job.
Yeah, they did, and I
Yeah, it's
haven't.
actually,
But I'm gonna when I walk the property, I'm gonna look at the trees too, see if there's anything leaning over too. We've had a lot of rain, so
Well,
that does
Yeah.
into it.
reports keeps mentioning when the spring happens. Spring is almost over. Next month, spring will be over. A lot of those spring things like gutters, that sidewalk that's dropping down by the storm drain, got to do it now. Otherwise, it'll get too late. You won't get anyone to do it.
okay.
Okay, other questions on finances? So I think we'll call that again a very nice report, and it's great that you guys have this functioning and that we're again able to go ahead and start to focus on again some of this maintenance that we've had to put off for much longer than we would be comfortable with. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more stuff for public here? I guess
Do
actually,
you want to run through Canaan Parish quickly?
yes, that'd be great.
Chandra,
Hello,
do you want to do your report? Yeah. Hi.
hello, everybody.
Hello,
Hi.
For
Chandra.
Hi. For Canaan Parish, we have a 2-bedroom. We're going to do an internal transfer for that one. And that will be effective for June 1st. That resident's family's composition changed, so he's in a 3 now, and he's going to go to a 2. For AR, I've been sending out the 48-hour notice, which is like a demand for payment notice, and we've been getting residents to pay, and some of them have been asking for payment plans. We're working with DSS and person to person, and we also have a few residents that have already been in court and on stipulated agreements. And for building and projects, I had that we caught one raccoon, but we also had another one caught this morning. So that's 2 so far. They were by the garbage can.
Of
So
course.
we had them in the traps. Yeah, we had them in the traps. The first one was like on the side of the garbage. This one was actually literally like inside. I don't know how he got inside. So, and unit N201, we had Thompson Controls here. Her apartment was heating up so fast. Even when she turned down the heat, it was still saying it was about 87, 88 degrees in there. So we had to repair the heat pump, and they actually flushed the system. They tested it for leaks also and added some Freon, so the Freon can transfer over to the cooling. So now everything is fine with her, and she also got a new thermostat too. We started the spring cleanup already, and sprinklers were opened up on April 16th. And then on April 24th, we did have Anderson Windows out for a site visit. They also gave us the findings, and we're still working on this project. We're doing pricings and other options to see where we're going to go, but this still is in work in progress, and we're trying to get it done before the fall. And also with the MOR, I said MORI, MOR is ready to submit to the contract administrator. We received a score of 85, which is above average for this property. And we're going to be submitting that shortly. Actually, the due date is the 25th for that. And then for the garden, community garden, we received 23 responses back. We have 10 boxes, but an extra 2, which we just got. So it's a total of 12 boxes, and we're going to divide those by 23 residents between the north and the south buildings. And we're going to put numbers on the boxes so they'll know, like if 3 people are sharing box 2, 3 people are sharing box 6, but we just want to make it even. But I will find out from once they start to do it, everybody else wants one again. So right now we only have 12. This happened last year, so we added 2. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to fit any more in there because it's just a small space. But as soon as the spring comes and it starts to plant, then everyone else wants to do it. So far we're at 23. And then on July 27th through August 20th, Aziz will be on vacation in Morocco.
And
Yeah,
so,
one thing,
so we have 23 people that are able to grow stuff, and there's probably, am I reading correctly? There might be like 50 that want to.
After somebody, it seems like this happens every year. After they grow it and they see it, then someone says, I want a box, I want a box. This is the same thing that happened last year. So we don't know if we can even fit any more boxes. We're at capacity now with the 12. So yeah, it
Well,
always starts off slow.
Shantrina, have we got 12 big ones or 12 altogether? We have those 2 small ones too,
Yeah, we have 12 altogether,
including the 2 small ones. Okay.
including the 2 small ones.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think I've still got the numbers that I used on the other ones, but
Yeah.
so you didn't have to do a lottery. Everybody just filled
No,
it.
I didn't do a lottery. I had them fill out the form and then either submit it to me via email or put it in the rent box. So I got 23 back so far.
Okay. Well, we'll see. If we
We
can
will
start
see.
stealing each other's tomatoes.
Like last year, because it's going to be a
Yeah.
repeat.
Yeah, they do. They do. Scott, one thing I've noticed, there's a lot of the evergreens have died over at Canaan Parish.
Okay.
I don't know whether it was just they weren't planted properly, they weren't the right plant for the space. I was wondering about giving Wesley Stout staff a call, just like to do a walkthrough and say, okay, if the junipers won't live here, what do you suggest? Because I don't think I think it's past the warranty at this point.
Yep.
But if we can find something and put in something in the fall that, get something on sale in the fall, put it in early and something that'll work. But I want them to own the job they did. And about half of the evergreens have died up on the terraced hill and around the backside. So,
nope. I think that'd be great. And if you can give a call to them, that'd be awesome.
okay. Just didn't want, just to see, you guys need to come take a look at it and tell us what we should be planning. And no, we probably don't want your staff to do it, but we just need to tell what should we be placing instead of this.
Yep.
So with that, and as far as the windows are going forward, except that we've run into a little bit of a glitch with the way that the ones that are the casements over the panel, that they can't mull a double hung over those. And so they were debating whether to do like a super tall double hung or to figure out, totally framed in totally separately. Evidently there must be some kind of Anderson unit that is a fixed panel with the casement above. They don't have a fixed panel with the double hung above. And so it may change up the thing. I sent it, I said aesthetically, I go to Amenta M, and safety wise, I don't think we should have a double hung that goes all the way to the floor.
Yeah.
It seems like a problem. So.
No, I
that's-
mean, that's absolutely a problem and okay.
Yeah.
Always a snag.
Yeah, so we're all set to go. It's like, oh, can't do it because I can't mull it, but it'll change the aesthetic on the outside a bit for those. And so it may change what Amenta Emma wants to do. I don't know. It's where we are.
Okay. Anyone have any general questions on Canaan Parish or?
Just, this is Wendy, just wondering about Riverwood. Is there anyone to talk about what's going on? How things are going there?
I mean, Tim, you can correct me if I'm wrong under this, but it's we're still fighting a little bit of a refilling the tenancy after having lost Avalon, and so we, as everyone probably recalls, we didn't really have management for about 2 months, where their manager basically quit and nobody really kind of managed the tenants, and we lost a bunch of people. And we've been refilling, and we're entering the sort of the hot zone for people renting stuff inside of New Canaan as they get ready for the school, finish school system, a school year, and come back in. We keep working that. We've definitely found a couple of added maintenance issues. We were having some water heater failures that were not anticipated. Those are probably the two big things. Am I missing anything else big, Tim, or?
You're muted, Tim. Tim, you're muted.
Probably to keep out the
Unmute
the
yourself.
music.
No, am I on?
You're on
Now
now.
you are.
All right, sorry. No, Scott pretty much got it. Occupancy's been a struggle. We've been doing well retaining existing tenants when their leases come up for renewal. But traffic to the site hasn't been what it should be to give us enough opportunities to add to what we have. That's changing a little bit. Scott's right. The season is better right now. So we're seeing more traffic, getting more results out of that. And we're upping our game in terms of promotions and advertising and generally getting our story out more effectively. And the other side, the other thing that's been drag on our bottom line results, again, Scott hit it, the physical, specifically the heater problems. It's just I guess a matter of the age of the facility and the age of the equipment starting to catch up, and a lot of it came right after we took over. But I think we're pretty much back on top of it. I have to tell you that the asset managers we're using, David McCarthy and Chuck Berman's organization, are doing a really good job, I think, holding property management's feet to the fire, and that's that. I think some of the turnaround is
What number of
attributable to
vacancies,
that.
Tim?
What?
Sorry, Bernie, what did you say?
That's on market.
I didn't catch that. If
Bernie, you're freezing up. I think your
Frozen.
internet's
Cutting
unstable.
out.
All right, Bernie, we'll come back to you
No,
on that one, but
No,
as soon as
well,
you- yeah.
One
Five,
thing
you said?
I just asked Chandrita. Chandrita, so you've got a 3-bedroom opening up with
I
the
have a
internal
3-bedroom
transfer?
that'll be a unit transfer that I have an application already for.
Okay. I was figuring it wouldn't last very.
Internet tonight is not too good, especially when you can.
All right.
Hey, Scott, you might get some tenants. I know when I was at Avalon, and I was there for quite a long time, we had a lot of people come in the summer that were having their renovations to their homes.
Yep.
They were, you know, they did like a 6-month lease and they always would tell me, oh, we're staying longer, you know, our contractor, you know, they're not done. So you get a lot of those people too.
Yeah, we definitely, we've gone back out to the renter, to the realtor community and made sure that they know that, because there's a huge issue now that you can't sell your house because there's no place to live. So it's like, nope, this is a great spot in order to sell, and then, you know, rent for a year, and while you're renting for a year, try to figure out where that next place is.
Right.
So you're absolutely correct. It's you know, it is a great transition type place for some folks, and we're hoping to get some more of them along the way.
Yeah, it's the experience we've had is that most of I mean, like a large majority of the renters that don't renew when their lease comes up is attributable to the fact that they've bought a house or they're moving back into a house they've been renovating. So it's a pretty good spot to be when you're in that situation.
Sorry, an entire non sequitur here, but I just opened an email that caught my attention that Keith Ritchie has passed away.
Really?
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Oh,
Young guy.
wow.
Wow.
Boy,
That's
sorry about
cute.
that.
Yeah.
No,
Trying not to pay attention to things, but that caught my
Yeah.
eye.
wow.
All right, so sorry, back under this. So why don't we go ahead, if that's it under the general public side, why don't we go to closed session here for a couple of pertinent items?
Okay, let me unrecord.
All right, so
Okay,
Wendy,
thank you.
thank you,
Take
Wendy,
care.
Cindy, thank you, and talk to you guys sometime soon.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Good.
I motion that we join the meeting.
Do we have a second? All in
Second.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful Memorial Day.
Thank you,
And
you
let's
too.
hope that wind knocks
You
down the
too.
palm.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, it's supposed to be sunny for parade day.
We need that. Good. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye now.